I call to order the regular Storm Lake City Council meeting of January 19th, 2026. All who are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, council. Are there any changes to the agenda? Councilperson Martinez?
I'd like to pull the Carroll refuse out of consent. It looks like it's on the consent.
Is that on consent?
Yes.
Okay. Council, does anybody have any objections to that? All in favor of that? Okay. Where would we put that then? So we will move that from the consent agenda, and that, any particular place we want it.
You can usually do it right after consent.
Okay.
First item on the regular.
Okay. Any other changes? Okay. Then, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda with that change of Carroll refuse being moved out of consent to the regular agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Councilperson Rickless, second by Councilperson Ramos. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, so we have a consent agenda. Are there any disclosures by any council members to any of the items on the agenda? Okay, and hearing none, the agenda is set. Do we have anyone here who would like to address the council on a non-agenda item? And if so, please step to the podium. Do we have anyone online? If so, it's *6 to speak. Okay, hearing none, we will move on. So with the remaining consent agenda, council, are there any questions or comments? And we've already approved the consent agenda, right? I have to do the motion to approve it. Yeah, okay. So, hearing no other questions or comments, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with the change that was listed earlier. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Moved by Councilperson Ramos. Is there a second?
No.
Second by Councilperson Piercy. All in favor of the motion to approve the consent agenda with the changes as signified, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. So with that, then we will move into new business, and we will start with the item on Carroll refuse that has been moved from the consent agenda. Councilperson Martinez, do you want to speak to your question?
Just checking to see if we're continuing to have issues with the, whatever you want to call it, sludge that comes out of the truck or whatever that is. I don't know what that is, but I seem to still see it around. I don't know. And then there seemed to be a day where there was trash all the way down Fifth Street just within the last 2 weeks. I don't know if that's because of that or if it was wind or a ne'er-do-well that knocked them all over.
Yeah. Mr. Olson?
Yeah, we had my assistant come up with some dates. The last calendar year, we have cited them once for a garbage leak coming out of the truck itself. And we had, that was on June 20th. And we had 4 of the complaints last year, May 29th, July 30th, August 4th, and August 7th. And those were with leaking liquids coming out of their compactor truck. So that was kind of the ongoing complaint, other than the day we had stuff blowing around. So I'm not sure if that's a truck, when they dropped it, it landed on a truck and it kept driving and blew off. I'm not 100% sure what happened there, but the basis, or the most of the complaints we had have been about stuff leaking out of the trucks themselves.
Is it something that goes out? How does that work?
Honorable Mayor and Council, the last, if we're talking about the incident that happened the morning of our last council meeting, Chris Chambers did contact Kurt Snyder, and it was either operator error or it was a situation with the vehicle. But they did send out employees to go pick up what was, I guess, dropped on the ground. So they did do that for a couple days. So they did recognize that was an issue.
Another question.
Councilperson Martinez, yes.
Okay. Did there a bid go out, or is this the only company that wants to do it? I mean, do we not really have much of it?
Honorable Mayor and Council, anybody who wants to be a garbage hauler in the city of Storm Lake, they would go through the same process, going through a permit process. They would just have to give us their vehicle, the driver, the licenses, proof of registration, and the liability insurance, and then a licensing fee of $100. A few years ago, we did have 2 haulers in the community. They had since stopped being a hauler, and we only have 1.
Nobody banging on the doors to want to do the service for us.
I have, Honorable Mayor and Council, I have not had any communication with any other company that would like to be a garbage hauler.
I have a question.
Councilperson Ramos?
Is the situation related to the spill of the liquid, the mess that they leave every time they pick up?
Yes, ma'am. Councilperson Ramos. On the 20th, it was garbage liquid leaking out of the truck. It was kind of this one, on that incident, it was kind of the alley going between Lake and Erie Street.
And what are they doing to correct it?
From my understanding, a couple things. They have seals at the back of the truck that they're supposed to be replacing, and that kind of prevents it, so that way, once it gets up a certain height, it'll spill over, but they're supposed to dump before that. And depending what route they take, some stops have more liquids in them than others, I guess. So that's part of us trying to think that how they're doing this, so they pick up the stuff with the most liquid last, and also trying to dump sooner, because you try to put too much stuff in, the seals only go up so high, at some point it'll leak out anyway. So trying to adjust their route so they don't wait until it's overflowing before they go to dump it. So I think that's what Chris has worked on with that, is keeping the gaskets replaced. Think about how they're picking up garbage, especially when the schools are in session, because you got all the milk cartons and whatnot, and that contributes to that. And then just not filling them up so much, you get a dump. So I'm sure it takes a while to drive out there and dump, and so they avoid it if they can. So that's my understanding. So that's the 3 things that I can think of.
As a result of the spill that we saw on 5th Street that day, I'm glad that they were able to come back and pick it up. When I heard about it, I went around and drove through the neighborhoods and took pictures of the number of residents that overflow the containers. And so I think Larson put out something on Facebook about what it looks like, what you should be, have your lid down on your trash can. But we have people putting things in the recycling that don't belong in recycling and sit way up. And we have bags and bags of trash sitting on top of those. So I think that more community education about how to put trash out, and if you need to get additional containers for your property, that we should encourage our residents to do so. Because my concern is, if you have cans that are overflowing, when they go and they flip that thing up, something's gonna fall out. And if those bags fall out and break, then you have a mess. So I think more community education and asking our residents to be more cognizant of how they're filling their trash and recycling bins would be, probably benefit all of us. So. Anything else on that?
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Scott.
Olson.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve the application for garbage collection service by the Carroll Refuse Service.
So moved.
So moved by Councilperson Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Reiner. This is not, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Passes. Okay, next we will hear from Storm Lake United.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. Thank you for giving me the time to present this evening. Look, it's up there, it's working, that's great. Just wanted to update you a little bit on the happenings of 2025 from Storm Lake United, give you a little recap of the year. I have submitted our letter of membership request to Tyler Gibbons, so hopefully you have received that. Wanted to thank you for giving me the time to give this presentation, and hope that you can see that what we do at Storm Lake United supports the city of Storm Lake, the strategic plan, and the 5-year plan, especially in the area of economic development and tourism. It's on there, but it's not going anywhere. I don't know if it's,
There you go.
now it's on. Did you do that or did I do that? You did that? I'll just give you a nod when I'm ready. That'll be easier. Improvements to Storm Lake United building. Obviously, we made some facial facade changes this last year, which we feel like drastically improves the professionalism that we hope that you're seeing through Storm Lake United. We've updated the bylaws to allow city and county elected officials to serve as voting members of the board of directors. And we are now accepting credit card and online payments along with monthly membership payments for our members. Our board members for this year include Ryan Moore, Kelsey Schmitz, Dan Jones, Sarah Johnson, Chris Cleveland, Dr. Stacy Cole, Jamie Brawl, Natalie Schumann, Mayor Meg McKeon, Rhonda Ringenberg, John Hopley, and Mary Jo Davis. We had 11 ribbon cuttings this last year. That's almost one a month. I was visiting with Mayor McKeon just the other day, and it seemed like there was a lot. I think there was a lot in a short amount of time. It's an average about one a month in 2025. So we're happy to help those new businesses celebrate those accomplishments and hoping that we can support them throughout their business. The revolving loan fund. We still have the revolving loan fund available through Storm Lake United, assisting local businesses with access to capital. As of this last year, we were under the revolving loan fund through, I can't remember the name of the organization. Do you remember, Mayor McKeon?
Don't.
The organization. Anyway, it was mandated that we would report to them every year. They decided that we have had the revolving loan fund long enough at Storm Lake United that they no longer need to oversee that, so they have turned it all over to us so that we can make decisions on the revolving loan fund as an organization. We updated the Storm Lake relocation package to better support the workforce recruitment and the community onboarding. I will pass around a copy of that updated report. Of course, things are always changing, so there's probably things in there that need to be reported as of this, or updated as of this date as well. If you'd like to see a copy of that, you can see it on our website at visitstormlake.com. There is a link on there. In 2025, we launched weekly chamber coffees in October, creating a consistent platform for business networking, collaboration, and information sharing. They have been well attended. We were trying to find a way for businesses to be able to attend during the workday, to be able to network and communicate, to share about their business, to network on different services available, not only to inform us as Storm Lake United members, but also to let the other business people in the community know what they have to offer. So we consider those to be quite successful thus far. There is another photo of that. The awards banquet. We celebrated many awards this last spring, recognizing things such as Volunteer of the Year, Entrepreneur of the Year, Customer Service Awards, and more. It's a great time to celebrate our businesses and to recognize those that really have done an outstanding job of performing in our community. If you have some input on businesses, and this goes out to the public as well, if anybody has input on businesses that really deserve to be recognized, that you really think are doing a standout job of customer service, or they're a really outstanding small business, maybe they're doing some really neat things in their marketing, let us know at Storm Lake United. We really want to recognize those people that are doing an outstanding job in our community. We've provided direct support and visibility for local businesses through promotions, events, and referrals, served as a connector between businesses, city resources, and economic development partners. Storm Lake United continues to serve as a welcoming front door for business growth and a trusted partner for entrepreneurs at every stage. We served 182 members in 2025. In 2025, Storm Lake United continued to promote Storm Lake as a regional destination through digital and social media campaigns. The one that you see here was the carousel campaign that we did on social media, both on Facebook and Instagram. On, the month of June and July, these were live, promoting our restaurants in Storm Lake. So you can see there's quite a variety of food available in Storm Lake, and we were hoping to generate a lot of enthusiasm for the different restaurants and different ethnic foods that they can find here in Storm Lake. It didn't perform as well as I had really hoped it would. We gave it a couple of months' time, and then we switched over to promoting Wood Wine and Blues for the third month of the campaign. But I really had hoped that there would get more sharing traction and more conversation going with that. We were not provided any additional insights other than just how many people viewed those. Collaboration with local lodging partners and local attractions, visitor information and wayfinding. We did create a new local art brochure thanks to our partnership with BVU this fall. Our intern created this local art brochure. It is still in the works. There's some finishing touches to be made to make it so that we can print it and fold it, and so that it all lines up correctly. But it features the lighthouses, the bronze statues, the mosaics, murals, and all of the different things they can find art-wise in Storm Lake. And I will pass that around to you as well. Like I said, the format isn't exactly fixed yet, but it's a work in progress. Trainings. In February, we invited in the tourism partner to talk to us about how to find our local businesses on the state tourism website. And so she provided us some education as to how each business can submit their information so they're a part of the Iowa Tourism website. That was held at Kings Point. Thank you to Amy for letting us host that there. It was somewhat well attended. You can't always get people to attend very well in February, but I double checked it again today just to see how many of our local businesses are registered on the Iowa Tourism website. And I was surprised to see exactly how many are represented on that website to hopefully bring more visitors into our community. Other Lunch and Learn topics, we hosted a QuickBooks Lunch and Learn at Iowa Central this summer. And then we partnered with the Iowa Lakes Corridor Association to promote the Energy Bus presentation in Storm Lake in November. Kids Fest. Well, we were the first ones in the park and the last ones to leave because we had this grandiose idea of the mini golf course, which really did work. It was just a lot of work. It was fun for the kids. It was fun for us to put together the display and prove that you can actually put together a mini golf course in a short amount of time for the kids to enjoy. This year, we're going to make it a much easier plan, and I will not be the first one in the park and the last one to leave. Retail events, Valentine's, Walking Warehouse, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Ridiculous Day, Sassy Saturdays, Holiday Open House, you name it. We have a retail event for it. Retail throughout the year, we try to encourage the local shopping. You know, we want to get people into our stores to register for prizes, to do fun things, to scribble in the sidewalk chalks, something for the kids to do throughout the year. So we're promoting our retailers throughout the year. As far as events go for 2026, I do have some brochures to give you that have all of the dates of our scheduled events for 2026. Wood, Wine, and Blues, obviously our signature event for Storm Lake. Live music, local foods, local wines, a new beer garden for 2025, which was very well received by the people that came to the event. The awesome chainsaw carving artists that come to our community to show off their talents and give us their time for 3 days to put together some carvings that were pretty fabulous. It's really neat to see those things come to life throughout the weekend. Thank you again to our partner Kings Point for providing the lodging for that event. It really wouldn't work money-wise if we didn't have those partners in the community, so we really appreciate that. And Christmas in Storm Lake. For a special stamp on the year, we collaborated with Santa's Castle for the window displays to promote Storm Lake and Santa's Castle. While not a lot of people attended the event of the unveiling, it really was a good time, and we hope that we can continue doing that. We actually used some of the displays that aren't on display at Santa's Castle, but were in their storage area, and put them in the windows, and some of them even came to life that weren't really working from the storage area because our local businesses put some time and effort into those. But it was fun to do the unveiling, to walk around through the downtown. It happened to be one of the most gorgeous evenings that we had in downtown Storm Lake, so it was fun to do that. And then, of course, who can forget the frigid lighted Christmas parade? It was an evening much like tonight. Fun was had by all. Some toes were frozen. I think Councilperson Reiner can attest to the cold temperatures of the evening. Thank you to our partners at BVU. Our intern actually lined up Mr. Reiner's class, criminal justice, and there was another
Criminal Justice
psychology.
Club, there was psychology club and some social work students.
Yes, so I believe 18 students in
Yes.
all that helped us that evening with the lineup of the parade, which we really needed that assistance. You know, we elected to not hire the police force to help us with traffic control, so it took 18 of them and all of us staff to manage the parade, so we really appreciate that partnership. And speaking of partnerships, we're proud to have partnered on many things in 2025, including the Water Plant Ad Hoc Committee. Very educational. If you have any questions as to how we came to those conclusions and recommendations, see me some other time. I don't want to go into it tonight, but the Water Treatment Ad Hoc Committee was very educational. It was a lot to learn over a short period of time, but it was interesting to be a part of. The Hometown Pride Committee, I know Dana's in the room tonight. I don't think there are any other members of the committee, but the Hometown Pride Committee, working with both the city of Storm Lake and all the different volunteers in the community. We had some fun with those activities with the kids over Mother's Day, bringing them downtown to help them with the Storm Lake Proud Week, planting flowers and then doing the sidewalk chalk as well. The City Signage Committee, I know we made recommendations for the new rules and regulations for signage. And then, of course, like I said, the BVU students helping us with the parade. And we were proud to be the leaders of the Loteria game during the Fiesta Latina this fall. So Loteria, if you don't know what that is, it's actually like bingo, but it's different Latino images, and it happens very fast. And I'm so thankful that Andrea was able to conduct that for our organization because I couldn't follow it at all, but it looked like it was a lot of fun. In conclusion, I would like to thank the city staff for all of their support throughout the year. Working with Dana and Lee and Carrie and everybody on the city staff, they've been extremely helpful with any questions that we've had along the way. I know last January and February, we had Lee and Dana out in the city park, Sunset Park, showing us how to set up for Wood, Wine, and Blues because we couldn't quite wrap our mind around how we were going to get everything done. The city streets department, what a group of wonderful people to work with. They have been awesome volunteers helping us out with any kind of street signs we needed, any kind of setup we needed for Wood, Wine, and Blues, for parades, for anything else. They are just so wonderful to have. and be able to call them, and they just show up at a moment's notice. It's wonderful to have them. And the Storm Lake PD for their support, and of course, Mayor and City Council, thank you to you for your support throughout the year. Any questions?
Questions or comments from the council? Thank you. I might recall, maybe I'm not correct in recalling this, but didn't we receive, or didn't Storm Lake United receive a challenge from SAC about manhole covers? Is
Yes.
that on the list of things for this spring?
It is, we've already met on that once here at the city to talk about the artwork for manhole covers. We don't necessarily think that we have to follow exactly what other communities do. So in true Storm Lake form, we are going to put a challenge out there this spring, and we will let everybody know when that happens. Don't run out and start painting anything without permission. But we have to have certain things approved, like different types of paint according to the DNR. We have a lake in our community, so we have to be mindful of that, and other rules and regulations that we will put forward for safety-wise and concerns.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to the next item, which is a resolution. So resolution number 37-R-2025-2026, establishing Mayor's Civic Leadership Advisory Ad Hoc Committee. Council, the Mayor's Civic Leadership Advisory Committee will offer guidance and suggestions to the mayor to help ensure both the mayor and the city stay attentive to the needs of all residents, encourage growth, and actively support development of our future leaders. The Mayor's Civic Leadership Advisory Committee consists of 9 members who serve 3-year staggered terms. A city staff member appointed by the city manager will serve as ex officio member of the Mayor's Civic Leadership Advisory Committee, and the meetings will be held at least quarterly. So, Council, I think I have shared some of my vision for this. I believe that the future of Storm Lake rests with more people being involved in our civic leadership. And I'm trying to find a way to encourage people who may be hesitant to run for office or hesitant to speak at council meetings to find a safe place to come and share their ideas, especially for their vision for the city of Storm Lake 5, 10, 15 years from now, as they continue to make the decision to live in Storm Lake. So questions, comments from the council? All right, if I don't know questions or comments, then I will entertain a motion to approve resolution 37-R-2025-2026, establishing the Mayor's Civic Leadership Advisory Ad Hoc Committee.
So moved.
So moved by Councilperson Rickless. Is there a second? Second by Councilperson Martinez. This is a roll call vote. Councilperson Piercy.
Aye.
Councilperson Martinez.
Aye.
Councilperson Rickless.
Aye.
Councilperson Ramos.
Hi.
Councilperson Reiner.
Aye.
And the motion passes. Thank you, council. Next item is appointing members to the Lake Improvement Commission.
If you want to. You can delegate too. if
We
you want.
argue over who's going to talk. Okay. So, for information, the city of Storm Lake is required to have 2 members appointed by the mayor with consent of Storm Lake City Council to represent the city of Storm Lake as board of directors for the Lake Improvements Commission. Members shall be the mayor and/or council members of the city of Storm Lake. The board of directors shall meet no less than 2 times per year, and at such other times as the chairperson and/or vice chairperson shall call such meetings of the board. Now, as everybody is probably aware, when I ran and got elected as mayor, I had to step down as a city council person, and at that time, I was holding a position on the LIC. So I will remain on the LIC as mayor, but we need to fill the vacancy created by me stepping down. In order to do so, within my scope, I would like to recommend that Councilperson Martinez take that seat on the LIC to fulfill the term, at least for this year, if she's still willing. Okay, great, thank you. Any questions, comments from the council? Okay, so hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to approve Councilperson Martinez as to represent the city of Storm Lake on the Lake Improvement Commission. Is there a motion?
So,
Second.
Okay, so moved by Councilperson Ramos, second by Councilperson Reiner. All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, Councilperson Martinez. Okay, I think I'm done with reading all these things now. All right. Next is a public hearing for a proposed change to City Code Section 5-9-2-I1. Mr. Olson.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, again, this is a code change that will change our current ordinance for the 2024 International Residential Code. That particular section is when we recommend, or when it's required to have a sprinkler in a single-family dwelling. As it's written currently, the International Code requires a sprinkler in every house, no matter how small. We have amended it since we adopted the first International Residential Code a while back, probably in 2020, if I remember correctly. And we put in a trigger of 5,000 square foot is when a sprinkler would be required in a single-family dwelling. It's been that way for some time. We've had, I think, one house come close to that and had to shrink it up a little bit, but it's been quite a while. We have currently a house under construction by Mike and Megan Sullivan, and we met initially during the review process, and that was one of the items that came up. It was, why and why it starts there. When we initially reviewed that ordinance way back when, we tried to figure out what would seem like a reasonable number for when that would be required based on the size of our fire department, the equipment they had, the geographic area, and it was all very new, so we did the best we could to try and determine what that was. As we discussed further with Sullivan's, they did some research, and it seems that as far as the city of Storm Lake, we're the most restrictive of any jurisdictions that I can find, as well as them. Initially, Sullivan's requested a change of the ordinance of making 10,000 square foot the trigger point for when we'd have to suppress a building. Fire Chief Center, myself, and my assistant, Chris Chambers, did some reviews of ourselves. We thought 5,000 seems like it's a little bit restrictive based on what other cities are doing. But 10,000 was too lenient, so amongst ourselves, we determined that 8,000 square foot would be more appropriate based on the equipment we have, the volunteer fire department we have, and the area we have to deal with. So it's been a few years since we did that, so it seems reasonable to recommend changing that, going from 5,000 square foot up to 8,000 square foot, based on what we've known over the years that we've had this in place, and based on what other departments are doing. Nobody within the state of Iowa that I'm aware of adopts the International Residential Code as is and requires all buildings to be sprinkled, so that doesn't happen. But we feel that once a building gets to a certain size, it's important to have that suppression system in place to protect the occupants and also our firefighters that go in and try to, if there is a fire, the bigger the building gets, the more hazard it is to them to try and go in and take care of a fire itself. So there has to be some point where we look at that, but based on our reviews, we seem 8,000 square foot's a more appropriate number. We did, staff met with Sullivan's and kind of discussed this, and so they're aware of it. And Sullivan's are here tonight too. They can kind of go over what their thoughts on this as well if you need to.
Are there any members of the public, including the Sullivans, who would like to speak to the council on this issue? Is there any? Go ahead, come up to the podium.
I'm Mike Sullivan. I just want to say thanks, give me the opportunity to speak. I'm going to just kind of reiterate a few things that you heard Scott share. we're certainly in the process of building. It's a new adventure for us when it comes to a single-family home. And I think that's been the key part in all of this that we've kind of talked about, meaning Megan and I. We recognize that this wouldn't be a thing if we weren't building, as with many things. And so because it came to light, we wanted to talk through it. And Scott and Chris have been great in terms of being able and willing to chat about it. Like Scott said, we did some research called, I'll say this, using my background with the school, I tried to call communities that had similar demographics, right? Similar communities and groups within the community to get an idea and sense of what they do and what they have. I called Spencer was one of them, Perry over in central Iowa, Fort Dodge, Mason City, and then called Cherokee down the road. As Scott mentioned, none of them have anything that's too restrictive. Fort Dodge has taken this completely out of their ordinance, so they've deleted it. Perry has a 10,000 square feet. Spencer follows something different altogether in terms of their city codes. Cherokee, and this is why I kind of emphasize the single family, they don't have any requirements on single family. It's just when it comes to multifamily, so your duplexes and things. And I think as I had an opportunity to sit with Scott and Chris and Chief Sinner, that's where I felt it made sense to have something in place. And so that 8,000 number is kind of where we came to. Why we kind of came, and this was kind of a push for us. We weren't that far over the 5,000 square feet, but I think what's unique to us in this town is that we have a lake. I reached out to Mason City, kind of thinking they don't have any requirements. They also said they don't really have any houses. I think part of that is because you go 2 miles to the west and you have Clear Lake, which has all of the houses on the lake, right? Our lake is unique. There's a lot of county around it, and so there's a lot of large houses that could potentially be built on the lake. They don't have those same requirements, and so we kind of felt as community members, let's not hinder what someone could build that's not on the lake. If someone wants to build something, let's take that added cost potentially away. And so coming to a number of 8,000 made sense. It's up there. That's an extremely large place to live. But it made sense with Chief Center saying, volunteer fire department, it takes time for individuals to get to the fire station, then it takes time to get to the other side of the lake, those kinds of things. So we didn't have any argument when it came to creating a number that was within reason, but kind of made some equity across all the houses that we see when we are in Storm Lake, whether or not they're in the city limits or not. But again, appreciate your time, and that's all I have. Any questions for me?
Questions?
Question for Mr. Olson.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question for Mr. Olson?
Yes, so.
Councilperson Martinez.
The jurisdiction that our fire department goes out to, they go all over. Those, we have no say in that, correct?
No, not as far as
So
the
we have
codes.
plenty of homes built well over 5,000 square foot in their jurisdiction,
I'd have to
correct?
think so, ma'am. Yeah, I know there's at least one that I can think of right now that is, and there's probably, it's currently being built, and I suspect there's quite a few more that are existing, so.
Right. And that's what I was looking at. We don't want to encourage people
No.
to say, forget it, we just won't build on this, Emerald Park is about as far as, just a little bit further, would be as far as they could go, and it would be too bad if they decided, well, we'll build in the county and not in the city limits.
Yes, ma'am.
So I get that. And there is no way we can make some the same firefighters are gonna be in the same predicament, but in a much larger home. We don't have any say in that at all.
No, Honorable Mayor and Council, we do not have any other say besides city limits. What I can say is that they may fight a fire differently in city limits than they would outside of city limits because they don't know what they're gonna be walking into or going into. So they're gonna have to take that safety factor into account when they go to that fire.
Well, I appreciate that you were able to work it out, so
No.
if we're able to work it out, that's what,
Yeah, it was when we amended it initially, when we adopted the IRC, it was all very new, and we were trying to determine what was a good number, and a lot of what drove that was as time goes on, materials get lighter and lighter. Instead of using solid floor joists, now there's a lot of space joists and eye joists and those types of things, and they react to fire a lot differently than solid wood does. So when it gets hot, floors fail very fast. You know, in the old days when you built things out of solid wood, it would start to slowly fail, and the firefighters could kind of assess the situation much more accurately. Now you get a little bit of a failure, and it can very quickly, and then you get people trapped, and that's kind of why they required it. But yeah, so we tried to think of something that was most appropriate, and I guess one thing we should note is this is just for what we call detached single-family dwellings. So this doesn't address townhomes or apartments. Those have different requirements. Apartments all get sprinkled. There's no out for those. Townhouses, we allow those to be up to, off the top of my head, up to 6 units and X amount of square feet, but all those have a 2-hour wall between them so that they're isolated. So that's why there's a difference between those and single-family dwellings. So the amendment's just for single-family dwellings, not for apartments, not for townhouses. So there is a difference there in how we do those, just because of the firewalls between them. And when you have people in an apartment, you got people stacked above and below each other. That's a whole different situation. So those all require sprinklers. So, but yeah, so it like I said, it's been in the code for quite a while. The initial amendment would just it entered. You know, we've had some time to think about it now, and other jurisdictions have as well. So we just try to balance out keeping it reasonable with other jurisdictions, but yet protecting our citizens and our firefighters.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Do we have anybody online who would like to make a comment in this public hearing? Hearing none, and then I will close the public hearing. Next item, Mr. Olson.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this will be the first reading to make the amendment, which will change the threshold for sprinkler systems in single-family dwellings, going from 5,000 square foot to 8,000 square foot.
Council, any questions? Any further questions? Okay, with that then, lost it, wait a minute.
Honorable Mayor, it's ordinance number 06-2025-2026, proposed change to City Code Section 5-9-2I1, first reading.
I will entertain a motion to approve.
So
So moved by Councilperson Piercy, second.
Second.
Second by Councilperson Rickliff. This is a roll call vote. Councilperson Piercy.
Aye.
Councilperson Martinez.
Aye.
Councilperson Rickliff.
Aye.
Councilperson Ramos.
Aye.
Councilperson Reiner.
Aye.
Motion of the ordinance is approved for the first reading. Thank you, Mr. Olson.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Olson, you are up again for resolution number 38-R-2025-2026, approving pay application number 10 for the Storm Lake Well number 22 project.
Yes, ma'am. Mayor, Council, this is a request for payment by King Construction for the Well 22 project. Total of this request is $57,000. This was reviewed by our engineer on this project, which was ISG, and they recommended payment of this request.
Any questions, comments from the council? Right, hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 38-R-2025-2026, approving pay application number 10 for the Storm Lake Well number 22 project.
So moved.
So moved by Councilperson Ramos. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Martinez. And again, this is a roll call vote. Councilperson Reiner.
Aye.
Councilperson Ramos.
Aye.
Councilperson Rickliff.
Aye.
Councilperson Martinez.
Aye.
Councilperson Piercy.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to make sure you were awake. All right. Next, we will hear from Mr. Darragon for approving another amendment for well number 23.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this amendment relates to the engineering contract that's in place currently since September of '24 for the well number 23 engineering services agreement. Since we're going after CDBG funds, there needs to be an amendment to insert some federally required language into the agreement. That's what this resolution will do. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Council? Okay. Hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 39-R-2025-2026, approving amendment number 1 for well number 23 project engineering services agreement.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Rickliff, second by Councilperson Reiner. And this is a roll call vote. So, Councilperson Reiner.
Aye.
Councilperson Ramos.
Aye.
Councilperson Rickliff.
Aye.
Councilperson Martinez.
Aye.
Councilperson Piercy.
Aye.
And it is approved. And you're still there.
It's going to be a while.
Next, we will open a public hearing on the approval of a community development and housing needs assessment for the city of Storm Lake. Mr. Darragon.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this public hearing is required as we're developing, approving, and submitting with the CDBG application a community development and housing needs assessment. The process for approval of the community development and housing needs assessment requires that we hold this public hearing. What we would want to do is open the public hearing, take public comments, and then close the public hearing.
Public hearing is open. Any comments from anybody regarding the housing needs assessment? Anyone online? I will close the public hearing. Next is resolution number 40-R-2025-2026, approving a community development and housing needs assessment for the city of Storm Lake.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this resolution will approve the community development and housing needs assessment for the city of Storm Lake related to our application for a CDBG community development block grant.
Questions? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson
Second.
Martinez, second by Councilperson Ramos. And because this is resolution, it will be a roll call vote. Councilperson Piercy.
Aye.
Councilperson Martinez.
Aye.
Councilperson Rickliff.
Aye.
Councilperson Ramos.
Aye.
Councilperson Reiner.
Aye.
Passes. Mr. Darragon.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this public hearing is on the submission of a CDBG application for the city of Storm Lake. As we desire to make improvements to the water system, we must hold this public hearing prior to submission of the CDBG grant. For this public hearing, we need to open the public hearing, read aloud the public hearing announcements as written, accept comments, if any, and close the public hearing. I would be seeking volunteers to read the announcements if there's any, or
No, but the public hearing is open. No.
then I will read verbatim the comments. City of Storm Lake, public hearing announcements, CDBG application, well number 23 project. A, explain how the need for the activities was identified. The need for the proposed Storm Lake well number 23 project is due to the need for the city to provide a safe, reliable, and high-quality water supply to residents within the city. The city is serving the city with a number of existing wells, many of which are older and at the end of their useful life or subject to impacts of long-term drought conditions. The city desires to develop a new well to ensure its ability to provide water for its residents. B, explain how the proposed activities will be funded and the sources of funds. The well number 23 project is estimated to have a CDBG eligible cost of $932,350, which consists of construction and grant administration costs. In addition, the city will have engineering expenses related to design, bidding assistance, and construction management and observation services. For the CDBG eligible cost, the proposed funding is as follows. CDBG grant, $500,000. City funding from Water Fund cash reserves, $432,350. The city fund the cost of engineering services at 100%. C, announce the date the CDBG application will be submitted to the state. The grant application will be submitted to the Iowa Economic Development Authority no later than February 15th, 2026. D, announce the requested amount of federal funds. The city is requesting $500,000 in CDBG funds for the proposed project. E, announce the estimated portion of funds that will benefit low and moderate income people. The project will result in a citywide benefit. The 2016 to 2020 American Community Survey estimates show that 52% of the Storm Lake City population is considered low to moderate income. Of the CDBG funds invested in the project, 52% of the funds will benefit low to moderate income individuals in the city of Storm Lake. F, announce where the proposed activities will be conducted. The proposed project activities will take place at the existing site of well number 22, which has been constructed over the past several months. These wells are located on property owned by the city of Storm Lake on the west side of 90th Avenue, north of Highway 7. G, announce plans to minimize displacement of people and businesses resulting of funded activities. The proposed project will not result in the displacement or relocation of any person or business. H, announce plans to assist people actually displaced. No people will be displaced by the proposed project. I, announce the nature of the proposed activities. The proposed project will result in construction of a new shallow aquifer well to provide water supply to the residents and businesses of the city of Storm Lake. The well will be serviced by existing raw water mains, which are already existing, and the controls and pumps will be housed in the well house building constructed as part of the Well 22 project. Backup power will be supplied by the generator installed for the well number 22 project. These announcements will also be printed in the minutes of this meeting.
Is there anyone from the public who would like to comment? Do we have anyone online? With that then, I will close the public hearing. Moving on to resolution number 41-R-2025-2026, committing matching funds for a community development block grant application. Mr. Darragon.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this resolution, as it notes, commits the matching funds for the block grant application. The amount of those funds is $432,350, and they will be budgeted in the fiscal year 2027 budget.
Any questions from the council? Okay. None, then I will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 41-R-2025-2026, committing matching funds for a community development block grant application.
So move.
So moved by Councilperson Ramos,
Second.
second by Councilperson Reiner. This is a roll call vote. Councilperson Reiner.
Aye.
Councilperson Ramos.
Aye.
Councilperson Rickliff.
Aye.
Councilperson Martinez.
Aye.
Councilperson Piercy.
Aye.
Motion is approved.
Are we ready now? Honorable Mayor and Council, Resolution Number 42R-2025-2026 will authorize the submission of the application for the CDBG block grant funds for the well number 23 improvement project.
Questions, comments? With that, then I will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 42-R-2025-2026, endorsing and authorizing submission of an application for community development block grant funds.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Reiner,
Second.
second by Councilperson Martinez. This is a roll call vote. Councilperson Piercy.
Aye.
Councilperson Martinez.
Aye.
Councilperson Rickliff.
Aye.
Councilperson Ramos.
Aye.
Councilperson Reiner.
Aye.
Resolution is passed. Mr. Darrigon.
Honorable Mayor and Council, the next item is a motion to award the Grand Avenue Sewer Lining Project to HydroClean. Competitive quotations were received by the city on, let's see, I think it was on January 8th, 2026. Those proposals were opened. As noted in there, there were three quotes. HydroClean was the low quote at $67,202.26. The engineer's estimate for this project was $72,410. It's our engineer, ISG's recommendation that we accept that quotation, and it is the staff recommendation to do so also.
Questions from the council? Question, have we used HydroClean before?
Mr. Graft, have we done that? Not sure. Not to my knowledge. But we trust Tom's recommendation that they'll be great.
Okay. Hearing no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to award Grand Avenue Sewer Lining Project to HydroClean.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Martinez.
Second.
Second by Councilperson Ramos, and this is not a roll call vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Approved. Mr. Darrigon.
Honorable Mayor and Council, before you is a motion to approve an amendment to our professional services agreement with Bolton and Mank for engineering services. Back in 2023, we did a request for proposals for engineering services, for general services for infrastructure. At that time, we received 2 timely responses, and our internal committee that reviewed these recommended Bolton and Mank for the infrastructure part of our engineering services. At that time, we entered into a 2-year agreement, but that agreement also allowed for, and through the RFP, to extend it an additional 3 years if we felt performance was satisfactory during the first 2 years of the agreement. We do feel that their performance has been satisfactory, but we also feel that we are into so many projects that this would not be a good time to go out for an RFP to change horses in the midstream, as you might say. And it's our recommendation that we extend that agreement for 3 additional years.
Council? Okay. Hearing no questions or comments, I will entertain a motion to approve an amendment to the professional services agreement with Bolton and Mank for engineering services.
So move.
Moved by Councilperson Ramos,
Second.
second by Councilperson Rickliff. Sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. There we go.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this motion approves the amendment to a professional services agreement with ISG for engineering services. The narrative is the same. This is for water and wastewater services. This would extend our agreement with ISG for an additional 3 years.
Questions? Comments? Okay. Hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to approve an amendment to the professional services agreement with ISG for engineering services.
I so move.
Moved by Councilperson Piercy,
Second.
second by Councilperson Martinez. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Duragon. Move into our work session, correct?
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Council.
Okay. So we'll be moving into our work session for the capital improvement plan. And we will, again, like we did last council meeting, move down to the lower tables. We'll take about a 5-10 minute break. Okay. Anything about this company? Like their environmental?
Oh. Is they muted? Oh, unmute. Okay.
last time, we'll be getting information per department for the budget and capital improvement plan.
All right, Honorable Mayor and Council, night 2 of our capital improvement plan. So tonight, we're going to be discussing all funds that are general fund funded, or general fund departments. Our first one this evening is administration, and then also the airport and building official. So I'm going to kick it off to Mr. Gibbons to do the administration. Also airport, which council already approved their ACIP, and it's been sent into this, to the Federal Aviation Department for review. I think we got an approval letter on that one as well. So that one's been set and accepted. And then Mr. Olson will go over the building code enforcement, CIP, which will be super fast looking at it. Right, Scott?
Not much there.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Gibbons?
Thank you. So to start off with the City Hall updates, we kind of outlined the items that are needed for City Hall, inclusive of council chamber items, specific. So the items on here for the administrative portion are just $20,000 earmarked for projects. We have projects that are in the queue. Some might be less than 20,000 in 1 year, and some might be more. But for planning purposes, we just allocate 20,000. So the next 2 projects, that's why I have Scott also can fill you in a little bit more. For 27 is the AC air compressor, and then the plans are 28 for roof replacement for the City Hall building, and Scott can go into the compressor issues.
Yeah, we've got several AC units up on the roof that run the whole building. We've got multiple furnaces and air conditioners spread throughout the building. All of our compressor units are up on the roof, and the one we're replacing was part of the original remodel, so it's about 29 years old now. So the compressor's bad, and that normal lifespan's around 20 years, so we're kind of went beyond that. And trying to just fix the compressor itself can be kind of a, rolling the dice whether or not that's gonna fix it. So it'd be better just to replace the whole unit and bring that back up to speed, plus it'd be more efficient, so that would help too. Things have changed quite a bit in that amount of time, so that's the main reason for doing that one.
Questions, council? I have a question about the kiosk. Can you describe what the kiosk is? Is it gonna be a service kiosk or just a sign?
It's supposed to, it's still in the works, that's why it's just kind of a footnote.
Okay.
We'd like to assist with the customer service, especially around the due dates of our utility bills. The front can get really full with individuals coming in and pay their utility bills. So this will be a self-service kiosk in some form or fashion, where if you're here to apply for a building permit, a lot of our things can be done online. So if you come in, you can start the process on this self-service kiosk type of item. And again, that's kind of future looking to see how we can assist with customer service so there's not such a wait for some of those self-serve items.
Thank you.
For the airport, like Gary had mentioned, we've already approved the FAA ACIP, which does include the apron expansion project. We're right now in the middle of design of that right now, and the construction of that is the portion that you will see here. It's 90% funded by the FAA, 10% locally funded on that project. This project is outlined in the airport's layout plan to have done. The next one is a state-funded fuel tank replacement. Due to recent issues and the age of the underground storage tanks, the recommendation is to go to above-ground fuel system. This would be through state funds because it's revenue generating and don't score very well in the with the FAA for federal funding. So the application will actually go out in the spring for a state grant to be able to construct above-ground fuel tanks as well as remove the underground fuel tanks, because the DNR DOT prefer to have those out of the ground. So that does have to relocate and removal. Again, state funded, anywhere between about 20 and 30% would be local match on those state funds. There isn't a detail sheet for the billing and code enforcement because there's nothing in fiscal year 27, but I know Scott can add some notes on the vehicle that's out there in 28 reference.
Yeah, typically, right now, we've got a 2017 Ford Taurus with 106,000 miles on it. That was a hand-me-down from PD, and we have a Chevy Colorado, that's a 2017 with 70,000 miles on it, another hand-me-down. And then we have a Dodge Durango that's a 2019 with 28,000 miles on it. So we'll wait until we get closer to that and see which vehicle makes the most sense to get rid of and replace. If there's any more hand-me-downs to get, but typically we're trying to move towards like either a small SUV or a small pickup, depending on who's driving it, whether it's a code enforcement officer, the assistant building official, still end up hauling a lot of stuff with it. So we had the compact cars for a while, and those didn't seem to hold up as well, so we went a little bit bigger unit. It seems like they hold up better. So we'll see when we get closer to that fiscal year what we end up doing, but obviously be one of the two older ones with more miles on it. We'll see how those hold up and see which one we plan on replacing, but would not get a compact again. We look at somebody like a small SUV or a pickup again for the replacement.
Thank you.
So Terrence is actually out sick, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm gonna try to work through this.
It's in his first budget meeting.
So there's two items on there.
At the first of many, yes.
There's two items on there for fiscal year 27. The large item on there is obviously the fire station expansion and remodel. The first detail sheet, this is for the expansion and updating of the fire station. The current fire station has met its limits of use. It actually began being an issue, I believe we did a space study in 2018 for the needs of the fire station. Equipment's just getting larger. The new ladder truck, for example, is getting larger than the existing one. So there is space needs there. The $115,000 that's in there is for planning and design to kind of update that space needs study on what the future outlooks are and what's going to be needed. Ultimately, this project is gonna have to go to a bond referendum if it would go forward. Included in that would be some public outreach. Our fire department, I know, is eager to kind of get out there and explain why it's needed and what's needed specifically. So this is to update the study starting next year and get that public outreach started for the next voting. State code requires that bond vote be on general election years. So.
I have a question.
Councilperson Martinez.
So, but just to clarify, the new truck that we're getting will fit in the current building?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Just things are getting bigger.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Overall, yes.
Right. I was just making sure.
Yeah. My understanding.
Yes, it will.
I think I asked the same question.
Let that air out of the tires or
Yeah.
something. So we can-
No, it's just equipment overall.
It's just
and
more and
it's
bigger,
getting
yeah.
larger and larger. As well as the building showing age. The other item is for office tables and chairs. The tables and chairs at the fire department's over 40 years old. They take out a large amount of space. As some may recall, we do use that for emergency operations command, which last year we used it a couple of times. So we found the need to have more space and we kind of get that. So this is to replace that 40-year-old equipment that is not very user-friendly to be able to move or sit on.
Yeah, the chairs are pretty uncomfortable. Okay. Any questions? Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Police Department, Chief Cole.
Good evening. Ours this year is pretty cut and dry, as you recall. We already had the new body camera acquisition approved. So we are asking for another patrol vehicle to replace one that will, by the time we get the new one, we'll have around 100,000 miles or more upon delivery. And then that's a completely outfitted car, transferring what equipment we can from the one that we get rid of. And then we also have a new radar trailer in there. The radar trailer that we have was damaged in a storm last year. The insurance wouldn't cover that for the replacement, but we are currently in the process. The street department has been working on it, and we were able to, with their help, we were able to get it inside and get part of it replaced so that we could crank the solar panel down. And we tested it this morning, and it appears that the computer and the radar unit and the display is all working. And so we are going to try and order a new solar panel replacement for the top. And if we can get that solar panel replacement in, then we can determine, get it back out on the street and see if it's actually, I believe it, from the test we ran today, I believe we'll be able to have it working without having to replace the whole unit. So the radar trailer's in there, but there's a really good chance, I think, that we're not going to need to actually buy it.
Would there be any benefit to having two?
That would be a decision for you folks.
Nice pun.
If we had to, we could put them in different locations throughout the city. It's the one has served us fine in the past, but I'm not opposed to running with two. So that would be a decision for you folks.
Any questions or comments from the council? I appreciate you taking the initiative to try to fix what we already have. And if it works, that's great.
We're trying to be as fiscally responsible as
Yes.
we can. And I think originally, I didn't think it was going to function correctly, but after the street guys had it down there and got it up and running today, I think the outlook is good.
Well, thank you for your efforts. Appreciate it. Library.
Good evening. Mine is probably short and sweet. This is probably the first time in a very, very long time that the trustees have stepped up to do some maintenance. So as you can see on the first page, not the recap, but this one, there are some things that they would like to take care of. One of them for Harmony Gardens is a backflow preventer that needs to be done. Also, it's kind of interesting, but there are metal caps on the topmost bricks of the building, but not on the north wall. And it is on the north side of the building that is showing all sorts of wear interior-wise. So I have gone up twice to replace some of the plaster, and I have failed. And also there was a time when we had volunteers and they tried to also replace the plaster, and that quickly just bubbled up. So it is time to just pull out the north wall in that area and just start fresh. And also, while the trustees are at it, we might as well do something about the missing ceiling tiles. They come in various sizes. And I think the last time I counted, it's about 15 or so So that is something that they would like to see addressed. And with any remaining funds that would be funded by the Myrick Estate and the Carnegie Gift, they will paint as much as they can in the interior of the library. And the second thing also for 2027 is going to be shelving. It needs to be just a little bit shorter. From the front desk, we would like to see farther into the north of the library. And also, we'd like to be able to see the children at all corners and all areas of the youth areas. It is quite all right if the playhouse is the tallest structure there, and it has made many generations of children very, very happy, and they will not like anything to be done to their house at all, but it would be nice for those parts of the library to have shorter shelves. Are there any questions?
Questions, Council? I do. Can you talk a little bit about the backflow preventer for Harmony Gardens, since Harmony Gardens is relatively new? Why do we need that?
I really don't understand.
I can answer it.
Thank you.
You have to have
Thank
it.
you.
I'll just simply say it's required.
Okay.
Yeah, so when we had our EPA audit, was that like 3 years ago now? 2 years ago. Okay. Wow, I really wanted it to be 3. One of the audit items that we had to correct was to make sure that everything we had, as well as other businesses and properties in town that had a backflow preventer. And so when Harmony Gardens was installed, we, did not have one, so we have to fix that. It's required.
Do we have like a sprinkler system for the grass there, or what?
It's there. It has been installed.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a sprinkler
Yeah.
system or not. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, there is one there.
I have a question about the interior north drywall.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it due to moisture getting in?
We have had many, let's say, interpretations of it by mason contractors and carpenters. There is some moisture someplace.
Oh, did we know if that's tied to the lack of the metal caps on the north wall?
That is one theory, that it might be the metal caps, because if you take a look at the entire library, no other side walls have that problem. And it is only the north wall that does not have the metal caps. So that is just one idea, that it's got to be the possibility of why there's moisture.
The north wall is also covered by shade, like 90% of it. It builds a lot of moisture,
Yeah.
even from the exterior. So the cause of it,
I just didn't know if there was a leak that hadn't been detected, and whether or not we should be worried about mold due to moisture collecting or anything like that.
I want to say maybe about maybe 10 years ago, even our Bolton and Mink engineer did take a look at it. It's not mold. It's
Okay.
just it's just bubbly.
All right.
It's effervescent.
That's a technical term, yes, bubbly.
How long have you had missing ceiling tiles?
Oh gosh, I want to say could be anywhere from about 10 to 15 years.
They've been missing for 10 to 15 years?
Yes. Well, we thought that when the lights were going to be installed, that some of the ceiling tiles will be changed, but it didn't go very far.
Thank you. Any other questions, Council?
Do we have city staff do some of those tiles, or?
Yeah, we have, on Bomera Council, we have some city staff that's able to do that. You've been in the, I'm looking at, sorry, Mr. Ribkey, you're often in the library doing whatever we need to do in there. It's just purchasing them. That's all it boils down to. It's not actually hiring an outside company to come in and do that. We do as much as we can internally with the staff that we have. They're very talented, apparently. I didn't know that you could even fix a speed radar, so that's really.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
it's too cold to go
Cold.
outside.
Yeah.
He's trying to fix that stuff because of this. I mean, we got.
Right, yeah. No, we share when we can, and happy to share when we can.
Thank you.
It's like, who can race to the front first?
That was the time with Lee and the resort manager, and you said, Lee, come to the thing. And,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was like,
and
not
I got up,
you.
and then you're like, not you. Okay.
Wrong lead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so my first item here is the blade sign project. This project was part of the downtown master plan, so it was identified in that, and then most recently was came as a recommendation from our signage, downtown signage ad hoc committee, that they would like to see something. We talked about different ideas for signage, and the blade sign is kept coming back up as being a good option. I've looked at some other communities that have blade side programs. There's usually a set grant amount. There's a match that's required. You want to make sure that either the person owns the business or they have a lease agreement where they're going to be around for a while. It's reimbursable. There's certain, obviously, things that are covered or not covered. The materials, installation, like debris removal and things like that are not covered. So we wouldn't be the first community doing it. So there's other options. It really comes down to determining the amount that you want to set as a reimbursement. I've seen anywhere from $500 to $5,000 per. All depending on what you wanted to do. But again, you want to have the business owner have skin in the game. And this would be to help revitalize our downtown business district. Blade signs are known for, when you're walking, you can look down and see all the, what's available. It kind of defines the area as being as a business district, or your downtown. What else do I have?
And I guess on this one, oh, sorry, Mayor.
I'm sorry. If council doesn't have any questions, I'll jump in. So when it's a part business owner pays, part city pays, is that correct?
Yeah.
So we don't know the cost. Does that mean that the business owner decides the size and the type of sign, and we have to go along with that, or is there going to be standards?
Well, they would have to follow the city sign standards, absolutely. And all the examples I looked at, that's, first and foremost is you can't. It was a big thing with the ad hoc committee to have creativity. So, and honestly, if you have a blade sign that looks the same, it looks like a mall.
Right.
You start looking down and it's all the same blade. You could do something where the bracket is the same, but that design for that business, that would come, some actually, the grant covers the cost to have them do their design for the build of the material. Does that answer that question?
And Honorable Mayor and Council, I think the direction that we're looking at is, what do you want to see in this program? Do you want to see 50-50, shared city, shared business owner, application process? Do we want to have a certain amount, let's say $500 or 50 match? I mean, there's just so many ways that we can run a program. It's just, what would you like us to start with?
I think, since we don't know what our funding's gonna be from the state or anything, or what limits are gonna be, I would like to see just a base cap. It's just a limit that we would put on it. Maybe $500, just an idea, because otherwise you don't know what the next, some signs could be really expensive and some aren't. So I think we gotta have some kind of limit that way instead of just a 50% share.
And how much is the council willing to allow in the grants in a given year? I mean, that's what we would do. Because it's kind of signage related, we did utilize the franchise fee as a funding source because it's dollars coming in for others being in the right of way. So we're utilizing franchise fees. So the question is, how much of that franchise fees do you want to put towards a grant program or funding toward this project? How many do you want to do?
And I would see this as being a first come, first serve, you know, whatever the amount is and when it's gone, and obviously an application process. And these would be approved by council.
And there's really no guessing as to how much one of those signs could cost. It is $20 to $5,000 easily. I mean,
It could vary, all depending on that. You know, I certainly can get some quotes. It really all depends, you know, yeah. The idea would be, though, that the business owner is improving their sign, but they also have skin in the game, they're paying something towards it. So it's, and again, it's reimbursable. The design is approved first, application process, so there's checks along the way.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering if is this grant gonna be available each year as new businesses come in, or is this kind of a one-shot deal?
Well, there's a way we could do some type of maybe a revolving loan. I don't know where you could keep it continually refunding.
It could also go, honorable mayor and council be every year. It's what the council desires on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it could be a larger sum this year because it's the first rollout of the program, and then, you know, seeing how many businesses utilize it. It could be, you know, next year, we may have, let's say, all $60,000 of it spent within like the first month, or we may not have anything. So I think we just, for our initial year, we'll just have to see how that is. For the subsequent budget years. There will be, after we get some direction from council, we'll come forward with some rules, regulations, administrative rules on what that would look like. So if you can only spend, let's say, you know, a max of $500 in your grant application, you know, you have to have, it's reimbursable, or is it from, so when you pay for the signage first, you bring us the receipts and then reimburse you for that. Or sometimes I've seen a direct bill, you know, we would pay a portion of it too, that would go directly to the sign company. I mean, there's different ways that we can maneuver through this program.
Some of the businesses would be also able to, if they're members of Storm Lake United, use their revolving loan fund if they need
Yes.
to, correct? So there's options for the business.
Yep, it'd be actually a perfect
Yes.
tie in together.
Other thoughts from the council?
So if it's approved, then we'll come forward with some
plan.
additional requests on how you would like to see the program rolled out, what caps, what rules, regulations.
I guess just when you think the sign story has gone away, he comes back.
You know, who doesn't love a good sign, councilperson Martinez?
I know, gosh.
Yeah, I would look at other models for maybe decreasing the city percentage and keeping a little bit more on the business owner. I think that having some ownership and skin in the game is useful.
Says the city of Burlington's $250 with a 1-1 match. Bellevue is $1,000 with a 1-1 match. Coon Rapids is $500. Macokota is not to exceed $1,000, pays 1/2 of the cost. So there's a lot of different ways you can to do this.
The two big keys are going to be your individual application caps, and then as far as making this go on beyond 1 year is how much of the franchise fees or funding source do you want to earmark each year? Are those kind of the two decisions?
How much do we bring in franchise fees?
A little over $1 million.
And how much of that is already spoken for?
Honorable Mayor and Council, $1 million.
And there lies our answer.
No, honorable Mayor, because I know when we did the downtown master plan, we did the downtown signage, we did our comprehensive plan. I mean, all of these discussions for the last few years kind of we've done the plans, now we're in the implementation stage. So what can we do right now that we heard from the businesses and the public? What can we do now to start implementing those plans? And we're focusing on the most inexpensive ones right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's kind of the low hanging fruit, the things that we can knock out, you know. So this would be one of them. And it's also one there's been a lot of interest in. And we've gotten feedback from community members and businesses, so.
So we just, I'll throw this in there here real quick, just because, when you're looking at these special revenue sources, they have intended purposes, just like your hotel motel tax, or your road use tax, or your local option sales tax. For franchise fees, the designation from, what was previously desired was economic development, energy efficiency, public safety, streets, public works, public improvements. So it's very wide range of the funding options for franchise fees.
I would think that in considering how much we want to use, we can keep in mind that not every business is gonna jump on and do this right away. So it's not gonna be
Maybe
a
we'll
huge cost.
definitely see what the reaction is like.
Yeah. Do you need anything else from us tonight on this?
Oh, no, not on
Okay, thank you. Are we moving away from signs for a moment?
So disappointed. Yeah. The last thing I have here is a project set aside for $50,000. This would be basically money set aside for future council goals for economic development. Another way to look at it would be having a proactive strategy of having something set aside in case council needs to make action. This could be anything from housing, childcare, land acquisition, retail, just being competitive and ready to go. And that's pretty much whatever you like to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I said this is why he fixed that trailer.
It's the radar fixing that.
I only have one sign.
New nickname, Radar.
See what he can fix from now on now. That's the problem. Made a mistake there.
Can I put that toys in here?
So we will be doing campground, golf course, parks, and streets department. We'll start out with campground, and there's only one thing on there this year, it'd be purchase a new mower for the campground. It's right around 710 hours at the end of this last year. Anywhere from 800 to 1,000 hours I'd like to replace if possible. We start to have more costly expenses around those amount of hours. And they last anywhere from 5 years to, some could last 10 if it doesn't rain. So, questions on that one? Sometimes it doesn't rain, sometimes it rains all the time, so. No questions on that? Move to the golf course. The first one is replacement of club cart. Golf carts, we had 2 carts that were around 99s. We don't know hours, there's no hour meters on them, but we've done quite a few repairs on those. Those are another thing that we've duct taped together quite a few times. 2 years ago, we replaced one of them. This would be the last one that we'd have to replace. They're used for anything from trimming to cutting cups to anything we do during the day. Garbage runs, they're used in the parks if needed on 4th of July, or I know Kings Point has used stuff before for parades and whatnot, so maybe I'm not supposed to say that, but yes, used for.
So what you're saying, we're sharing.
We share many things.
It's under golf course, but it may be for the entire community.
Yes. Any questions on that one? Then our last one at the golf course would be insulation for the golf shop. So a quarter of the shop is insulated. The back part is not, it's just bare
bare steel, no insulation of any kind. Well, it gets to be pretty chilly early fall, into late fall, and early spring. We have a lift back there that we do maintenance with, and it wouldn't fit in the heated side if it's in the back. This would just be a spray foam application to the inside of the whole 3/4 back 3/4 of the shop. So we could work in there later in the year or earlier in the year, whichever way you want to look at it.
Questions?
All right. Parks. Starting off with a tool cat. This one would actually replace one from 2008. I think it was the original to the city back in 2008. Has 7,907 hours on it now, actually. They're used daily, from snow to brooming trails to, I mean, anything you can think of. We have attachments for forks. This older one would be shifted out of here, and trade-in would also be done. Questions on that? Let's keep rolling. This one would be C63 highway sidewalk. I'm on the right order? Okay.
Right.
We had a request from a resident. I'll actually read it. A voice concern regarding travel safety from Westlake Estates to the city's park system. This project is to install a sidewalk along C63 to cross Highway 110 at the city's existing multi-use trail system. The project currently includes a hawk signal for crossing 110 and required fill.
So who's gonna sweep the snow off of it?
Off of this, you're probably looking at
Him?
the people that will be doing it.
Yeah, I was just
It
gonna
would be one
prepare
of our
council, there
trails.
would be nobody doing the snow on this one.
Oh,
It's
this one
not-
wouldn't be?
No, because it's not required by, unless if we get a grant.
Then-
That's why we do the other, trail systems, but this one would not be snow removal during the winter. This was a request that came forward, from a resident. I do feel, looking at some of our construction numbers that we're seeing rolling in, I feel that this might be a little low.
Will we be able to get a hawk signal in over there? Have we talked to?
DOT has not been contacted. I do think that might be a challenge. And if that's the case, traditionally, you'll need to do a traffic study, traffic analysis. You're crossing a state highway.
Great.
There's a lot of people walking over there.
There is, yeah.
Lots of people crossing. Kids,
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of people cross over there.
You're also looking at easements from the property owners. It is pretty, there's gonna be a lot of fill required to come in on one. I guess this is one of our unique unique roads, is we don't own it. It's the county's. Half of it's inside city limits, the other half is not. And so you'd be looking at only really one location that you could put that sidewalk on, which would be the city side.
How far would the sidewalk extend?
Yeah, how many feet?
In order to capture, there's a cul-de-sac.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go all the way to the west.
Prairie Lane, yeah.
Okay.
So that very first, when you're coming into town, the very first cul-de-sac right down there.
Mhm.
Okay.
If that would be in order to capture all of Westlake Estates.
It just seems like a low number.
It does seem low.
Well, and Honorable Mayor and Council, really your funding sources are local option sales tax and franchise fees. And those, as we go through, you'll see that's a lot of what does our road work too.
The 18,000 that's in there right now, if that's what you're referencing, is really low. That's going to be just to get the ball rolling with like a traffic study. So.
Bigger number
this is
on that, right?
Second number is.
Big numbers.
Yeah, that's it.
950,000 in future.
Yeah.
That's probably low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the 18,000 is kind of like Carrie said, just to get the ball rolling if this is a desire of the city council to look into. So starting with some of those required items.
And we've had the one request that you've read, have other residents over there contacted the city and requested similar?
To my knowledge, it's just been the one in writing that I've received.
I slipped in that ditch once, walking. It's not, there's no guarantee I wouldn't have slipped on the sidewalk too, so I'm not sure that that would have solved the problem, but yeah, I mean, it is, there's a lot of people walking over there from there.
And it is a steep
Yeah.
ditch that requires a lot of fill. That's gonna be something else.
And then we'd have to look at drainage too, so this would be, again, the first one is just the study, to see if it would even be feasible.
You good with
Can
that?
continue, yep.
Here, we're moving on to Chautauqua Park Shelter House, electrical upgrades. When the shelter was built, it was just an open-aired one, and I don't even know if it probably didn't even have electricity to it at that time. So it's maxed out to the point where we can't add anything into the parks, like for events, like for the 4th or any event. We've looked at upgrading ovens and stoves because we buy just normal ovens and stoves, and they take a beating, so it's like every 2 years we're replacing a stove or an oven. And this would be, we'd be able to, with this, if we upgraded our power to that, we'd be able to put in commercial ones that are heavier duty or that would last longer. And we're looking at installing hand dryers everywhere in the parks to get rid of paper towels, so we don't have to purchase paper towels all the time. We've gotten some done. This would actually, we'd be able to do that here then in the 2 inside and the rear open one. What else? It's shared with the parks maintenance building, and that one is severely strained, and so it would update that service as well. That's the gist of it. We've looked at adding power, kind of like what we did at Oasis, where we have pedestals all around now, so it's easier to have events. We can actually do stuff without having cords strung everywhere or telling people we can't do it. We'd like to do that to this park. It's one of our things where we want to update the amenities we have and make them more usable. So.
I know that it's like in your next 28 year, but, the 4th of July, and I think Wood, Wine, and Blues, the one complaint we get is people don't like the sound of generators on the food trucks. The food trucks are becoming very popular, so that might appease some of those people that live across the street and don't want to hear that noise for 2 days straight, so that would be nice.
Next would be nature area, parking lot, and access roads at the nature area. This would be at the nature area. I won't say the other one. I keep wanting to say the other one, so I gotta stop talking before I say the site.
And we've received grants to go towards that, right? That's
Yeah.
what we got the grant for.
And a lot of this, we are gonna try and do in-house as much as we can. Questions on that? Next would be Pritchard Park Development. This would be a park near the Kading property over on East 4th and Chloe Lane at the corner there. So it'd be, does that ring a bell where that's at? Okay. It's $100,000 in there. We don't have an actual plan yet, because how it works with playgrounds is we tell them what we have to use, and then they give us designs. So we'll get them from 3 or 4 different ones, which we already have some coming in just to have an idea. And that's how that works, because no place is the same. You can't tell them this is exactly what I want, because they may not have that. So we would have 3 to 4 designs for this amount or just under.
And this part was in the original agreement with Caden Properties, is that right? From what I
Yes, it was
understand.
actually the sales agreement between Pritchard and Kading that Kading had to gift over that property to us for a park.
And any park designs that you submit or share would also include equipment for all levels of ability?
Well, normally, yeah. So normally we go from 5 to 12-year-olds, age-wise, but yes, we try to get as many other things in as we can.
ADA compliant?
Yep. Yeah, well, yes. Yep. We keep going. Next. Large area mowers for park system. We have these on a rotation where we're able to trade them in while they still have a good amount of value. The 2 mowers that we would trade in at this point would be, they have 1,340 and 1,290 hours. These 2 mowers are out every day during the week. Unless it doesn't rain. Which has happened. It was great, because we got a lot of other stuff done. We'll move on to public services now, or streets. First thing we have here is a concrete buggy. Right now, when we look to do our concrete jobs, if we're doing trails or if we're doing picnic pads or anything like that right now, we either have to put it in the bucket of our wheel loader, or we drive the truck out there if possible, only if it's dry. If it's wet, we can't do that. This, we'd be able to do it at any time. Plus, it would be utilized by parks, golf. We use it throughout everywhere to haul mulch into playgrounds or haul concrete, rock, you name it, we'll put it in it probably.
Is that a challenge?
Yeah. Gotta see how much it can handle. This will probably be a lot cooler sign than what Lee comes up here with. But be a driver feedback signs. They use radar technology, you've probably seen it, and gives you a display. It's kind of like the trailer, but these would be permanent ones out. This pricing at this point would be for 4 signs, but we can add things to them, like different analytics and that if we'd want to. So maybe it'd be 3 signs, but one would have like vehicle counts or something. It would be what we would decide to do with it, but it would be up to 4 of those placed in certain spots where Chief Cole has complaints and stuff.
Would that be permanent?
Yeah,
Those
these
are
would
ones
be
that-
permanent.
These
Yep.
would be permanent.
Like, I know Sioux Rapids has them now coming into town and going on. So it'd be like those.
Like the ones that give you a smiley face.
Yeah. Slow down.
When you slow down.
I think these would just be numbers.
Or flashing red lights.
This one would be Geisinger Road paving. So this one we've had.
So we
complaints.
had, last year, we had a petition to annex in Geisinger Road to city limits. Right now, Geisinger Road is one of those oddities again, where half of it's inside city limits and the other half is not. It's currently a gravel road. The property owners who live on the city's limit side would like to have the road annexed in. I found out that you can't actually annex it in because the road is, when it's the county side, it's the property owner that gives an easement to the county to have a road through it. So we are looking at now having an agreement with the county to do some sort of upgrades to that particular road. You can't do half of the road that's in city limits, you'd have to do the entire road. So to resurface it or to maintain it, it'd be $136,000 that you receive from Blacktop Services.
Yeah, that'd be for a 4-inch blacktop layer.
And again, to be clear, that would mean that we would also be funding or paving a part of the road that we do not own.
Correct, Dr. Mayor Council, yes. Outside city limits, yes.
And is the county at all interested in assisting with that and doing their half?
No, they are not.
It was rhetorical.
Oh, okay. No, I did have those conversations. I mean, it's been we've been open with those communications. And again, the county is, if this is something that the city would like to do, there would be no hindrance on having an agreement between the city and the county for maintenance. We would just have to decide on what is that maintenance. Where are we gonna, we would plow the entire road right now. They take care of it. So we would just be responsible for the entire maintenance of it. But they've been, again, very open in that discussion, so.
Which would be 3 blocks, not.
Right, it would take us up to the end of city limits, yeah.
Yeah.
I just worry we got a lot of streets in town already existing that need to have some patching and maybe overlay done instead of taking on another gravel road.
Because this would take up most of our budget for.
This is separate from that other, that's coming down the road here in a few pages.
It would free up additional dollars towards some of those other projects. I think Ripke's got a list of other projects that could be done if it's the direction of the council.
A question I have, and I've driven out there, not at the request of Councilperson Reichlis, because the last time he suggested I drive on a road, it was a swimming pool. So I'm not But did the people that purchased out there, they knew that this was going to be a gravel road when they purchased out there, correct? It didn't just become a gravel road?
No, it's been a gravel road.
Okay.
I'll say
Fun-
this though,
fun fact.
I mean, I was a resident out there, and I mean, the traffic has gotten worse over time, and that was something that wasn't known
Wasn't there.
at the time, probably, with the new housing development.
Right.
So, but again, I mean, there's a cheaper option too. I mean, there is,
Yeah,
a
so
chip
there's-
seal too. That
Yeah, so that would be a double chip seal with a fog on it for 35,000.
But again, I agree. I mean, I think we have to look at it. Full
I think we
scope
have to
before we do
prioritize
anything.
our money
Right.
for road repair.
Exactly.
In the meantime, though, they've been dealing with the dust by having it chemically treated, correct?
Yeah.
I believe, yeah,
It's
they
paid for by the homeowners.
pull
though.
together and.
Yep.
Next would be holiday decor lights, poles. So these would be the trees that are out. The trees, the current ones are 20+ years old, and they're using the older C7 bulbs. These would be with LEDs, they'd use less power and they'd last longer, and they'd be different than what has been there for 20+ years. We're just looking at upgrading.
Older current ones.
Like 20+-ish.
I'll bet you he can fix those the last
Well, I'm fixing them. Every year we do something with them.
I'm just thinking of things.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, we do, and we definitely,
Yeah, we do hear feedback on the holiday lights. I think that's probably one of the most items that we hear feedback on.
My kids tell me we should leave the ones on the top of the buildings all year round.
It does look really pretty.
I was thinking that yesterday as I drove through, it looked nice. Yeah.
Hold on, Tyler has to budget it.
it should be using less than what it used to. Should be.
LEDs.
The LEDs are, yeah.
But no, that was,
better.
yeah, that was the purpose of this item.
I like the idea of the LEDs.
All right, so this will be infrastructure management plan. This is where we usually, anywhere from, so I'll just read it here quick. This is based off the 2021 Storm Lake Infrastructure Plan by Bolton and Mink. Also with staff inspections done yearly. This include practices done from milling and hot mix asphalt overlays to chip seal application based on the conditions. These areas change over winter due to freeze thaw cycles, so exact locations can change. So what was a decent road going into fall might be not decent anymore in the spring. So we kind of don't earmark it exactly for that street until the snow goes away and we see what we have. But we've priced out quite a few different bad spots, so we have numbers for different ones. But it's 250 or 250,000 in there for that. I know two that for sure would be on this one, would be Highland Drive from 6th to Low Cheatham is very, very bad. And also, where's that other one? Ontario from 8th to 9th Street is another bad. Those are smaller ones compared to some of the other ones, but even those are 80 to 135,000 a piece. Good with that one? All right. What do we have here? Okay, Oneida Street reconstruction project. This would be phase 2.
Phase 2. Like, who wants to talk about this one, right? We received a grant from, basically, it's the state of Iowa. So, but we get the funding through our Council of Governments, which is in Spencer. Dave is our staff member that goes and attends those and argues, I guess, on our behalf of the grant. I think it's just, actually, it's not an argument. It's a very, very good process where you go show your project to the other members in the Council of Governments, it's other cities, counties, and then they decide how the allocation and how the funding is going to go. And a lot of times it just kind of goes to whoever has the biggest need or who hasn't had a project for a while. The last project that we received funding for was for Oneida Street Phase 1. So now we're looking at Oneida Street Phase 2. This one is, although it's smaller in scope, it has a little bit more impact for the property owner. So you have a lot more driveways, you have a lot more property owners that we're going to have conversations with. I know it's 3 blocks. The funding that you have before you is, scroll down there and get that, $1 million of grant money. Then we have some stormwater that's going to have to be completed. And then we always look at our water and sewer. And so there's going to be at minimum 2 blocks of water that will need to be replaced. There's also a clay, we also have a clay sewer line in this property. So we're still kind of refining what the project's going to look like. This is a little bit more than what we had budgeted for last year. But we'll be looking at some alternate funding sources, and as we start the design process, and probably going to have to reduce the scope of that project a little bit more to make sure that we make it in our funding sources that we do have. We do have our engineer here if they have anything else that they would like to say. I was like, Dana. It's like, you're hiding behind Dana. No. But we just did meet about this actually prior to the city council meeting, and we know that there's going to be some aspects of the project that we're just going to have to narrow the scope with, and that just happens with every other project that we deal with as well. So you have the Cadillac before you. We're going to have to narrow it down to a little bit more so that we can meet our.
To a Volkswagen.
I like Volkswagen, so sure, yes.
Just don't go Ford Festiva.
Well,
Or you go.
I was gonna say we probably don't. What was it, the Aveo, Scott, that we got? Yeah, so we don't want to do to the Aveo. The Aveo. I'll tell you that story later.
Okay.
One thing to be aware of with this, as Terry mentioned, though the scope may be smaller in scale, the significance for the stormwater impact, as you get closer to the lake, is significantly higher. There will be an impact to the stormwater for debt service, most likely in the form of a revenue bond for stormwater to assist with funding for this project. Something to be aware of coming.
All right, moving on. plow truck number 5 replacement. So this is one of our single axle plow trucks. It's the one that, when you guys toured, that we've replaced the axle in it 4 times now in the last 10, 15-ish years, which is 4 too many times. But it's a 1999 with 59,904 hours on it. So this one would replace that one. It'd move it down the line. We'd trade that one in. That's primarily used on residential routes. The next one would be replacement for a emergency route. So this would actually be a tandem axle one with a different box on it, live floor box. I don't know if you ever see the plow truck going down the road with the box up. That's to get the sand to go to the back, because that truck doesn't have a live floor. And so far, I haven't hit anything, but
That's good.
let's hope that never happens. But this eliminates that.
Just jinx yourself.
I know.
What time this is about tomorrow?
It's kind of funny when it happens.
Yeah. So
I've seen it done with boom trucks, so.
So this one will replace that. That's actually truck number 59, which is a 2002 with 117,000 miles on it, which that is a lot of miles on a plow truck for what they're out and in. And so that would actually get rid of our 2 oldest trucks, and we'd be into the 2000s then.
Wow.
Yeah, moving up. Here we go with screen bucket. So this is something new we came up with. It's used to screen different materials, so like soil. What we were hoping to use it for is, so in the spring when we sweep up a large amount of sand that we put out on the roads. With this, we'd be able to scoop into it and screen most of the other stuff out, so we would hopefully be able to reuse sand that we have. I mean, we're not gonna not have to ever buy sand again, but if we could get a quarter of it back, we'd be ahead. That's only one use. So the other use is, all these overlay projects we do where we mill, we have 2 huge piles of millings. Well, we need to screen those so we could use them. So with this bucket, we'd be able to screen those, and then our hopes are to use those to start adding all that to alleys instead, so we won't have to buy material for that. And then another thing that we thought of the other day was we started stumping, and we have a huge pile of stump, dirt, and wood and whatnot. Well, we should be able to, in theory, screen the dirt out of the stump grindings and reuse the dirt. So, fingers crossed.
What size machine does this go on?
This would go on our payloader, so our Volvo. It can be put on an excavator also, but we're not asking for one.
This year.
Then it looks like, is this the last one? Nope. Towable air compressor, the one we have is 22 years old. We've started using this a lot more now that we've got that mastic machine. We blow out the cracks and whatnot. So a lot more street maintenance will be occurring. This would just upgrade the one we have. And that's also used from anywhere from blowing out all of our bathrooms in the winter to, we use it quite a bit.
Is it working now?
It's working now, yes.
You have a priority of 3 on it, so.
Yeah, well, and some of these were put in, I mean, this could have been put in 3 years ago at a priority of 3, and so.
With your ability to fix things, I'm not.
Yeah, we fixed it, yeah, well, sometimes we like a break though. Last one is front end loader. The current SDLG unit that was purchased has become costly with repairs. This unit has actually had $5,345.81 in repairs to date. We're actually maybe looking at another one occurring now. Hopefully it won't be too bad, but these are used from anywhere from snow removal, tree removal. Yeah. And that storm, every one of them was out that night. Well, they were out for about 3 weeks. And some were out 8 weeks. This would just be trading in that one to get one that's a little closer for repairs. Right now, the repair guys are coming out of Altoona, and that's not cheap. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll send you a list of things to repair.
All right.
Get a new name of MacGyver or something.
You gotta be careful when you start doing
I
that.
know,
I found
I
out
know.
when I was working. You know, got involved in working on everything.
It's better to not say you can do anything.
Yeah.
Definitely keep them busy.
Kings Point.
Perfect, thank you for saving the best for last here. All right, so the first one that we have is room remodels. Now, this does not include all of the renovation. This is just some of the things like right now, for instance, in the downtime, we're redoing 6 bathrooms, we're painting walls, things like that. So it would allow us to continue each year to improve the guest rooms over time. And so, yeah, and most of it is 18 years old, so, and has seen a lot of wear and tear, but we're happy to report we're moving forward with the rooms, and so that would just give us a little bit to continue that. Next one is ice machines. These are water cooled and notoriously don't have a very long lifespan because of all of the corrosion and so on that goes with them. Right now, we are currently down 3 ice machines in the building, which we've been fine, but we do need to kind of continue to replace as we move forward. The structural repairs, this is for the lobby and structural and repair the water park roof. So, some really nice design features incorporating the columns on that. Any questions on those?
Can you show the picture that you have, the bigger one? That one doesn't really do it justice.
Yeah. Some of the things we're hoping to, once she gets that pulled up, maybe, to incorporate would be to expand and utilize that business center behind the lobby wall. And by opening that up, we would create then a seating area as well in the lobby, because that's one of the things families want, a place to gather, you know, play cards, eat pizza, whatever.
I'll put it right here.
And then the next one is, each year we replace, well, we repair a lot of our guest room P-Techs, the air conditioners, especially in July, oftentimes middle of the night. So we have been trying to replace about 5 units each year. Then we harvest as many parts as we can off of the non-working units and kind of move the other ones through. So ideally continuing to move forward, and then of course, obviously, the newer the equipment, the more energy efficient, the better the guest comfort, et cetera.
Are these units taken out every so often and cleaned, removed from the wall?
Oh, yeah, we do full
Okay, I didn't know.
cleanings and
There's some places
preventive
don't, that's why I was
maintenance.
just
Oh,
wondering.
yeah. No, especially with all the cottonwood and everything that
Yeah,
comes in
that's what
on
I
the
was
backside of
wondering.
the lake, yeah, definitely. We have to do a lot of that for sure. And then the signage, so this is something we've talked about a couple of times, but obviously, there are still people that maybe don't know that the restaurant exists inside of the resort, and so on. And so being able to move to some better digital signage would allow us to, you know, offer, whether it was, you know, water park specials or restaurant specials or things like that to get people into the door, so. That's all I have on that. I mean, the exciting news is we're using a lot of our revenue generated to continue to make the other necessary updates and repairs. Oh, what did I miss? Oh, I missed the water heater page. Thank you. Somebody in my office printed off that entire packet. It was almost a ream of paper tonight if anybody needs it. So I missed one in that. I apologize. So water heaters, the two big water heaters down in the basement have come kind of to their end of life. And so what we're wanting to do is on demand with a holding tank. It's very common now in other hotels to go with the on demand. We do have water pumps and things to keep it moving throughout the resort at all times, but the on demand would be more energy efficient. And
How old are the current ones?
they're almost 18 years, one of them, and then the other one I think is 12. So they're pretty much extended to theirs.
How about the roof on the pool?
That is included in the structural.
Okay.
Yeah, we put that into the structural part.
Yeah, they currently have an understanding right now funding source, there's some decisions that the council's gonna have to go scope with both projects.
Is that all, that's all the department presentations?
That is all of our CIP.
Council, the next agenda item is to look at the setting of the outdoor water park and golf pass definitions and fees. That was resolution number 43R 2025-2026 on your packet.
Yeah, it's on my computer, I'm gonna go back up there, because I can't.
Yeah, would
You're
council
gonna-
prefer to
Yeah.
go back up there? Okay, you can do that. The heat go down.
Yes, it's for a reason here.
The heat.
The windows must be in, yeah.
Turned it off. Okay, Ms. Bank, the resolution that you've sent us for the outdoor water park and golf pass definitions and fees.
Correct. Honorable Mayor and Council, with today's cold temps, I thought it'd be fun to talk about something warm, including summer at Kings Point. In some exciting news, on the 15th, we opened the summer rates for booking. We learned a couple lessons. Next year, we'll stagger the cottages and the hotel rooms because we're really excited to report there was a very high demand, so much so that we crashed our website. On the 15th, we booked over 182,000 in hotel rooms and 51,000 in cottages just for May to Labor Day. So that was just in one day. And so very excited. Since then, we've seen another $50,000 in hotel rooms and 12,000 in cottage rentals in just a very short window. So people are really excited to come to the lake this summer, which is great. And it's a great start to kind of projecting a busy summer. As cold as it is, it's hard to believe that opening day of the golf course is just 2.5 months away and just over 4 months from the opening of the outdoor water park. I come to council today, again, to ask council to consider passing an offering only an individual and child pass at the water park and also the golf course. Obviously, in order to maintain the quality of the water parks, including staff and equipment, we have to make sure that we're mindful of the cost in operating the facilities and continue to ensure the sustainability of the water park for years to come. But obviously, one of the biggest challenges has been the family pass sales and what defines a family. Because of this, we recommend discontinuing selling the family passes and request to sell only daily admissions punch cards and individual passes. Assuming council has them, we feel that moving the individual pass price from the current $150 may encourage some individuals to purchase a pass and come more often instead of paying the gate rate or BV resident price. It will also allow for more flexibility in cases of families where one or more members of the family may not regularly utilize the water park. After looking at the trends in the industry and here at the resort, we feel that the individual pass pricing suggested is the most affordable option we can offer if continuing to have a season pass option and still maintain the ability to meet our financial needs to allow us to operate the water park safely. For consistency purposes, the recommendation would be to keep the water park and golf course following the same terms for the season passes. And the recommendation for the golf course is to remove the family passes and move to individual and junior passes. The recommendation would be to keep the individual pass rate the same at the golf course. But like the water park, we really want to promote the use of punch cards there as well. We think that there's a value to that as well. And increase the, so we would add the 10 green fee punch card to 140, offer a 10-round cart rental punch card for 150, and then also have a combo card with both. What we found that even with a lot of our family passes at the golf course, a lot of them, maybe the spouse, I think we had 16 that were husband and wife combos. The other person barely made it to the golf course. So this may be more economical for them to have a punch card for the few times that they would come out. And then we are asking the council to increase the private course rental for $350 for 9 holes as a group for a 6-hour max, and private course rental fee for $500 for 18 holes as a group for all day. And then the private course cart rental fee to $400. The changes council made, making that a flat fee versus how many golfers, has been really well received. People can plan their tournaments better, it works better, but we do feel that there is room for a little bit of an increase based on the fact that we are closing the course for the day for those. And then to increase the hall rental on a weekday and Friday night to $200. And again, that's only available after 4 p.m. due to the Meals on Wheels that's in there, the senior dinner date, sorry. We'd also like to offer some promotional items at the golf course. We'd offer a sale for Junior Pass for the pre-sale weekend, which will happen at the end of March to April 30th. We did this last year where they saved $25, purchased the Junior Pass for $50. And then a referral plan again this year where a returning pass holder refers a new individual pass holder and will get a $50 discount for each new pass holder they refer. And the more they sign up, the more that they can save. So with that said, for the water park, again, we suggest an individual pass for $100 ages 12 and up, currently $150, and a child pass for $75 ages 0 to 11, and the golf course ones, which I mentioned. So, do you have any questions for me?
Questions of the council?
I have a question.
Councilperson Martinez?
The pass for a landlubber, there's no pass at all for landlubbers, so they have to pay every time they go. There's no.
Correct.
There's no punch card for, because I heard more people that were upset about that than the original issues that we had that I won't go into, but, so they will pay $8. They don't even get wet, but you can get a lap swim for $2 if you did the 30 punches. That only comes out to be like $2.50, and they're getting in the water.
Yeah.
So there's no way for, what is the the reasoning, I suppose,
Yeah,
between them.
so lap swim is when the water park itself is closed. That is water walking that's done in the lazy river in the morning outside of regular hours. During regular time, that is taking up a occupancy. So once we reach maximum occupancy, they're taking up a seat, a chair, and so on, even if they're not getting into the water. But during water walking, we're not actually open. They actually go at the same time that swim team is already there in the pool.
Do we meet that capacity a lot?
There are times in July where it's been a little bit close, but yeah, obviously, I mean, chair-wise, there's definitely never enough chairs for sure. And we added more chairs last year, but there is a competition for space. If we had to move everybody indoors to a storm or otherwise, then we'd have to be really mindful of that as well.
Other questions? I think when we talked about this in the past, one of the things is if somebody says they're coming in and they're not going to get in the water, there's no way to enforce that they don't get into the water.
We do give them a separate wristband, but it does require a lot of extra policing for sure. Generally, inevitably, we find them dipping toes or otherwise, but.
The people that I'm talking about are not doing that. They're there to make sure you guys don't have to babysit. They're not, so you're not babysitting. And that, I know your water park manager talked about that. That oftentimes they're babysitters, and that's not fair to you people as well. And that's, you know, if someone buys a pass for their kiddo, I guess they'll just have to buy a pass again. That's what they did last year. So it was just a question.
Yeah.
I did not know that we got so close to capacity that landlubbers were.
Well, and at $100, I mean, if that person, they normally would be $8 for the landlubbers, right? So they only have to go, 12 times, and the individual pass works for them, and then if they want to get in or they don't, at the individual pass price of $100, they would get their money's worth pretty quickly if they did that instead.
Other questions or comments from the council?
And no sale, that there's a sale on the golf pass, but not on the water park pass, correct?
Well, we could definitely entertain a sale. We would just have to be mindful. We've already budgeted for about an $80,000 loss this year, so any sale we do will impact that as well. The difference with the golf course, they had 22 junior passes, so it wasn't a huge financial impact for them. Now this year, switching to an individual, they definitely might see a bigger shift this year for sure. Whereas we had approximately on the family 228 children on the family side at the water park. So, you know, certainly we would be open to it. We just have to recognize that wherever we don't meet that gap, it will have to get met somewhere.
And you did Black Friday sales?
Yes, we did.
And how did that go?
It went fairly well for the punch cards. People, especially the water walking, they were definitely very receptive to the water walking. We did not do anything with the season passes, obviously. So we did, sorry, just pulling this one. We did 50 of the punch cards, the 300.
Any other questions or concerns from the council? Are we ready to vote on this, or do you want another work session?
I'm ready to vote on it.
Yeah, I think we vote.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number 43-R-2025-2026, setting the outdoor water park and golf pass definitions and fees.
I so move.
Moved by Councilperson Piercy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilperson Rickliff. This is a roll call vote. Councilperson Piercy.
Yay.
Councilperson Martinez.
Aye.
Councilperson Rickliff.
Aye.
Councilperson Ramos.
Aye.
Councilperson Reiner.
Aye.
Passes. Thank you, Ms. Donbank.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Thank you, everyone.
Councilperson Martinez.
I would like to see more advertisement by us, by the city, about the county,
Rate.
the county rate. People do not understand that, and people that have lived here since the beginning of Kings Point, so repeating, and maybe signage at the facility.
Don't.
Signage.
We do have the signage at the outdoor admissions. I will say, I do not tend to put it on the Kings Point website because it creates a lot of confusion for our other visitors and hotel guests, but we can certainly add it. But we do have signage at both admissions for it.
And perhaps our city Facebook page and guru can come up with something creative from time
Sounds
to
good.
time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. With that, are there any other issues or requested items from the council? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved by Councilperson Ramos. Second?
Second.
Second moved by Councilperson Reiner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you, council. Thank you, staff.